What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And in today's video, I want to give you guys an urgent market update as Bitcoin is starting to get a little bit of a move to the downside. I want to cover the next key levels of support, where I'm looking for my next trades, and I want to break down two ranges that I'm looking at to help give me a little bit more of a clear view of where price is likely to go next. Should you be scared? Is this the start of the bigger move down? I'm going to cover everything in this market update, so buckle up, Mafia. It's going to be a good one. And without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on into the charts. Let's get into it. So guys, here we are on the Bitcoin chart, and as you can see, we are basically just ranging around between about $59,000 and $74,000, just bing-bonging around here. And this has been somewhat brutal, guys, as we have been stuck in this range for about 62 days. Absolute bore fest. Now, the Mafia is catching these nice day trades from the low of the range to the top and from the high to the low. However, we are starting to play around with the low of this range. And if you guys watch my live stream, you will know we've been looking at some very, very key signals, such as our money flow coming out on the daily, which may be indicating for a bit of a bigger move down. And if we are going to see this play out, I want to talk about those next key levels I'm looking at. So first off, I want to show you guys the two ranges that I am using as context for this chart right now. And that is, simply put, we have our large range right here. Obviously, this is the one we have been stuck in for quite some time, just bing-bonging around here. And as you can see, we came back up here where I was personally looking for a short trade, and I am actually currently in that short position. And now I know the bigger question is, how low can we go if we do decisively lose this range? Now, if you guys are familiar with how we trade the volume profiles on this channel, we simply look for deviations above the value area high. This is where we search for our short positions in anticipation of a move back into the range and a move back to the POC and then the value area low. And then when we deviate from the low, we simply look for the opposite to get a ride back up to the high of the range. And this does wind up working out more often than it doesn't. It's a fire trading strategy. Obviously, it's not as easy as just longing and shorting the highs and lows. But as you guys know, if you watch my live streams, I have been a little bit hesitant to be looking for a massive long position on our last deviation below the range. And that's for the simple reason that we have that money flow coming out on the higher time frames, which would indicate that the longer term trend may be able to continue to the downside. Assuming that we're not just going to get this random huge parabolic move as we are moving into the next bull run here. But from a technical perspective, looking at the charts, this is simply bearish money flow. This is not my opinion. I'm simply just bringing the information on the charts. However, it did wind up being a pretty good idea to not look for those super crazy longs down here, as we have harshly rejected the POC, which is where I closed my little long position and then entered a short. Again, if you guys watch the live streams, you will remember that. And I am actually still in this short position, and it is playing out quite nicely as we have come up and rejected that POC and gotten a big move back below the range. And you guys can see that this position is now up about $1,500, only 17%. I'm actually only on 2x leverage for this short. This is only a small portion of the position I really wanted to enter. I actually was planning on adding to this position, as I thought we were going to come up and test a 786 Fibonacci level we had up here, but we never did it. So I am here with a little bit of a partial position. However, we will not turn away the free money as we are up $1,500. And this trade is being taken on Femex. Shout out to Femex. You guys can check out the links in the description down below if you guys want to trade with the Mafia here on Femex and long and short your favorite altcoins or Bitcoin. And they're always doing awesome promotions for the Mafia, so you likely get to save some money on your trading fees or even get some extra free trading bonus funds so you can take some risk-free trades. Now, although that short position is playing out pretty nicely, I do want to talk about where price is likely to go next, and that brings me to the second range I'm using for context in this market right now, and that is simply this lower range below us, which we are also kind of accepted into. As we lose this upper range, we are simply entering the mini range below, and I know this could get a little bit confusing, so I'm just going to go ahead and turn on the upper range here so you guys can get a little bit more of a simplified, cleared up view of what we're looking at here. So if we are unable, again, to get back up above this value area low and this now tapped daily naked point of control, this is still our key level of resistance, sitting at about 63,600. So we still need to get above that level in order to see a bigger move up for Bitcoin. But again, with the rejection off that POC, I am likely going to be expecting lower here, which is where I will turn my eyes to this lower range. And we are now toying with the POC of that range. And you guys will see this little extra level here. I'll get to that in a minute. But this is basically what I'm using as context, guys. If we're unable to get back above that larger range low, right here. If we're unable to get back above this, flip it to support and get a move to the upside. It is very likely that if we break this POC of the range, we could see price start to continue back to the downside, coming down to that previous value area low, which is sitting at about 57,500 or 57,400, depending on what exchange you're looking at and what time frame, etc. But that is going to be the next key level of support. Now, we do have some other key levels within here. I'm not going to go over those in this video, but we do have some confluence down here on top of that previous value area low. If we pull up the visible range volume profile, you can see we even have a nice little high volume node down here at 57,000. So this is kind of that last resort before we could potentially break down through this low volume gap, sending us all the way down into this next pocket of support, which sits between $51,000 and $52,000. And if I know anything about crypto, it's that everybody who's invested does not want Bitcoin to go to 51 to 52K. So I'm not necessarily calling for this, but remember, trading is an if this then that statement. And in my opinion, guys, if we start to lose about $56,000, that is really where we start to lose this high volume node, and we are seriously at risk of falling through this gap into our next key levels. And I wanted to bring these up to you guys so you're ready for them if price does move down to that level. Now, there's one other saucy level I'm looking at for a potential long position, and that is this SFP level sitting right here at $59,088. Now, the thought process here is that we may have a lot of liquidity sitting below this swing low from everybody who was entering longs here, and that liquidity will simply not only act as a magnet for price, but also if we tap into those liquidations and stop losses, that will likely add a lot of sell pressure to the market, giving us somewhat of a liquidation wick into our next key level of support, which is that value area low. And if we are able to get a swing failure pattern here, it may be a trade that I'm interested in, assuming I get other confirmations and price looks like it wants to reverse to the upside as we hit that level. Now, if we do come down to that level and get no reaction or signal to long, I will simply be sitting on my hands for a move to the value area low and a potential deviation. But at that point, we are, in my opinion, definitely in the danger zone for that move down to $51,000 to $52,000. And I'm not going to cover everything down there because we're still pretty far away. But I just wanted to make this video to give the Mafia a little insight and clear the charts up for everybody. I know things are a little bit choppy. So the upper range is basically between $63,600 and $71,000, almost even. And remember, that $63,500 level is going to be the key level that we need to get above in order to see that big rotation back to the value area high. But if this test on the POC, where I am short from, is actually the legitimate rejection out of this volume profile, I do think it's going to be a little bit more likely to get a move all the way back into our lower range down towards that previous value area low, which again is going to be kind of my next big zone of support that I would be looking for longs at. And remember, guys, I know this isn't the hugest move down, but remember that the daily money flow is still coming out here. And on top of that, our 2-day money flow is also rolling out, again, indicating the longer-term move may continue to the downside. It doesn't guarantee things, but I would say 9 out of 10 times we do see the money flow play out. But where we are in the cycle, potentially at the start of a parabolic bull run, we do also have to understand that we're in a situation where a fake out into the red may be likely before our next big move up. So I am keeping that in the back of my mind. But as far as looking at the charts, this money flow is indeed coming out. Sure, we could get some local bounces here, but still, just like on my live stream, my sentiment remains just like it was here where I entered my short position, and a lot of people thought I was crazy, is if that money flow is coming out, any bounces we get are more likely going to be lackluster bounces to the upside to put in the lower high and then get that continued move to the downside. So with all that being said, guys, I think that's all the time I got for today's market update. I just wanted to drop this quick video, give you guys a little bit of insight into how I'm looking at these markets. I know things are very confusing right now, so I wanted to show you those nice 2 little clean ranges that we have. And, if this level breaks, where are we going next? I like to give you guys those if this then that statements, because that is simply how the market moves and how we're able to extract money out of this market, leverage trading Bitcoin every single day here on the Frankie Campbell's YouTube channel. So with all that being said, guys, thank you for watching. Smash that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss any of our live streams or these market updates. And with all that being said, that's all I got for this video. See you in the next one. Frankie Campbell's out.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah, we winning by a landslide.